Hi, so I'm recording a bonus video here because I'm thinking back to where we talked and realizing the part where I just vaguely described a pull in my skull, I could actually talk through that more specifically anatomically and give a self-work demo on myself. And yeah, I actually kind of did it right before recording this because I got the idea, so I will bring you up to speed on what exactly happened. So that vague pull, it was sort of a boomerang shape tethering around. So there's the frontal bone and then the right parietal and left parietal skull bone. And it was tethering actually quite close to the suture between front parietal and, or between frontal bone and right parietal. And this isn't something I would do in session, or maybe it is. This was a little bit less yin and more yang of like, ooh, I wonder if I can take out the component of the tension that is the shape of the suture between the two skull bones by simply offering them minimal perturbance and seeing if they uptake it. So minimal, I'm like 5 grams of pressure or something, but still quite compressive on the bones. And that was before even recording all this, and I was like, oh, well, yep, something uptook, and then my hand started sliding a little over to the left in this, like, counter-swoopy shape, but I'm not exactly sure. That was more on the superficial fascia layer above the bones, like the bones themselves changed texture and let down something just a fractional amount. But I did get the sense that it wasn't like primary in the system, but that it was in the adaptive capacity of the system, so that my head was like, okay, we weren't gonna do that ourselves, but like, sure, I guess we have enough bandwidth to like accept a stimulus in this direction. This was even before I started recording, so I'm backtracing it. And then as that happened, I felt a little tiny crackle, one in my neck, like between C1 and C2, and then another right underneath my suboccipital muscles, and I'm like, that's hilarious because I didn't even think there was a crackly thing there, but it must be between the atlas and the occiput, so that's top cervical vertebrae and the skull bone that connects to it. And then once that propagated through, my ear canal started sitting slightly different. So yeah, between temporal bone, which is the one that holds your ear canal, and then zygoma, the cheekbone, there was like an increased pressure, but just minutely, but also more space in the ear canal. So those are the sorts of cues that I look for like, oh, something's concretely rearranging. And what I mean with the thing I worked through wasn't primary. Right, it was more of a like, let me deliberately perturb this body, but still very minimal, still like well within adaptive capacity. Not like, oh, I'm gonna get in there and just like hope the whole thing resettles. Is that there wasn't a clear cathartic obvious release, but I'm like, well, that initial boomerang shape of tension is lessened, but this is one of the things I've been working out for years now, so I don't think it's gonna go over, just fall away immediately. I think it's like oh, it pops back up, and then you take out whatever layers of it are ready to go, and then it'll resettle a little bit into a new stable configuration, but you do kind of have to keep coming back to it. And right, sometimes I get results that are like, woo, one and done, but sometimes it is these more developmental things. Now, ooh, okay, primary, ooh, that's what's happening. That is a really global strain pattern. There's always been something kind of behind my right eye, and like even like pulling up into the ethmoid and like behind the frontal bones there. So really the like, if you imagine 1 inch deep behind the corner of my right eye, the inside corner of my right eye. Oh my god, okay. And I don't really know if you can see what my hands are doing, but they're molding to, ow, okay, that didn't actually hurt, but it's clearly doing something. Oh, hello facial tension. Oh, hello skull. This is not even facial tension. This is like 3-4 inches inside my head. Oh, okay, and that's a whole nice wave of release. Yeah, the thing that was happening with my hands was they're molded to the outside of my skull just so, and when I make flat contact, I feel the parts under my hands that are being pulled inwards, like they're really being zipped up into that space behind my right eye. And I match the force to create slack in the lines. So I match the shape of the body's pull with my hands. So that's why I'm like really actually quite compressing. This is not 5 grams of pressure. This is like bone stuff and maybe more myofascial. And there is something about creating slack in the tissues that lets them pick up and finally rearrange themselves. But the osteopath language for this is like the pull. Whatever it is that was like totally kinked inwards behind my right eye, it was stretched way beyond its adaptive capacity just in my normal day-to-day existence. So it has basically never experienced slack enough to rearrange itself. So when my hands take the precise mold of it just so, it lets that area finally experience slack and then pick up and rearrange. But of course, the art of like, well, where in a body do you do this? What is the order of operations is part of the whole complexity of bodywork. Whoa, okay. And now there's like Right, so I'm still conscious here talking to you, so this is not like a full-blown regenerative touch session, because if that had happened to a client on my table, they would be in like maybe more nonverbal dream world. Okay. And then I would need to do some cleanup of that, because now I'm like, okay, there's a few layers of that, but now there's something like this direction. So it is untangling a big knot, actually, and just taking out tension willy-nilly. Yeah, complexity of the whole craft of bodywork is knowing what order to go in so that the person feels harmonically integrated at the end and not like, oh, my hand is looser now, but like, it was load-bearing to the tension on my elbow, and then it actually just comes back stronger. But my thesis is that following the arrow of integrated dreamlike trance relaxation into this regenerative state that I have yet to name is quite good at doing a traversal pathway through body tension that just feels strictly better the whole way, that doesn't like get worse before it gets better. So that was a little demo. I could keep going because now I'm like, okay, that might be like a sphenoid being slightly, I think it like actually went this way. I would have to settle that out. Yep, something under my, what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to keep smoothing this out for like 5 more minutes, but that's a little demo. There you guys go.